It's the Jeremy Hazelwood Show. What's good, what's good? Let's get ready to go.
Welcome to the Jeremy Hazelwood Show. Plug in, turn it up. Let's go. Hey, hey. Welcome to the Jeremy Hazelwood Show. Push play, let it roll. Let's go. What's good? Welcome to my show. In 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Let's go.
Hello and welcome to the Jeremy Hazelwood Show. This podcast is all about exploring a wide range of topics that spark curiosity, build community, inspire action, and deepen the understanding of our world around us. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe now on whatever platform you're listening or watching this by tapping or smashing that follow or subscribe button. Music has the power to inspire, heal, unite, and transform culture. In Season 4, we are diving into the world of music and people bold enough to chase creative dreams. Whether they're on the stage, behind the scenes, or in the boardroom, these guests are building culture, creating impact, and showing us what it means to turn passion into purpose. Today's guest is a pioneer in not only Atlanta's, but the hip-hop music scene, helping shape the sound of Atlanta's radio for sure, a legendary DJ providing tour support to some of the industry's biggest acts, a connective tissue between the heartbeat of Atlanta's music scene and culture and the rest of the world, a producer, a documentarian, and of course, a turntablist. Welcome to the show, DJ Nabs.
Hey, man. Good to be here. Good to be here.
Man, it's good to see you. It's been a long time.
It
so
has,
good
Jeremy.
to see your face and connect.
I know. We were talking off camera about how, pre-pandemic period of life and now how things are,
Yeah, man, I think of back in the days when I was doing music. I have this vivid memory. I don't know if you remember this. There was a show we did. You were DJing, and I had my son that weekend, and he was small, and it was at, I can't remember the mall. It was a mall south on 85, but my son was back there with you while I was performing, and you kept an eye on my son. He was probably maybe 3 or 4 years old.
Oh, wow.
And then scooped him up afterwards and went about our business. So I feel like you've been around and you've seen a lot of my life, glimpses here and there. I've certainly kept up with you. How can you not in Atlanta? So that was one of my good memories.
That's very cool. I think that's
babysitting
Greenbrier.
while DJing. No, it wasn't. It was not Shepherd Mall.
Shannon?
It wasn't Green. Shannon. I think was it Shannon Mall?
So, Shannon Mall would have, and when you said South, that's what was throwing me off.
Yeah,
'Cause I
it was
can't
south
remember
on
Shannon Mall.
85.
Shannon Mall, I can't remember exactly where Shannon Mall is, but if it wasn't Greenbrier, it may have been Shannon.
Yeah, I just remember you were DJing and
Yeah.
babysitting my son at the same time.
It was
A
the
man
90s,
of many talents.
the 90s?
Yeah, late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
It was somewhere in there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right, so let's take it back to you. I like to start with origin stories of my guests, especially this season I'm talking about music industry. And of course, it's a glamorous, fascinating industry from the outside. A lot of people want to grow up and be involved in it. So my question to you is, how were you introduced to music?
In school, in church, the normal way. But I think in particular with hip hop, I think it's important to mention that I was born in '69. The first rap record that I heard was in 1979. So I was 10 years old when Rapper's Delight came out. I knew the Blondie record had the rap in it. And the,
Right.
rap, you
Yep.
know. But prior to that, it was all music. I played saxophone in the 6th grade. I've been a musician my whole life, all the way up through the military. Once I fell in love with it, the saxophone was my first instrument. And then, like I
Nice.
said, as I got older and rap came, I was like, wait a minute.
Had to switch it up a little. Did you play any other instruments, or was it just the sax?
No, it was sax, but it was concert band, big band, jazz band, quartet,
Nice.
solo. That's one of the most versatile instruments, tenor, alto. Yeah.
Okay. So you made that switch from analog sax to digital with I guess turntables were still an analog device at the time.
Yeah.
How did the turntables come into the picture?
The turntables came into the picture because rap came into the picture.
Okay.
Here's Rapper's Delight. There's no DJing in it or whatever, but right after that is Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. However, the order I started hearing acts. And again, it was rap, it was electro, funk, Looking for the Perfect Beat, Planet Rock. All of these things took over in high school. So in the 10th grade, I became DJ Nabs. So I started DJing in the 10th grade.
Okay.
I was already in the band. In the 11th grade, I became drum major. 12th grade, I was drum major. My sister and I were the first drum majors out of Durham, North Carolina. That's where I'm from.
Wow. Okay.
And so high school, it was band. I was student body president also.
Nice.
I'm a C average student now, but a music student.
Hey, it's not about grades. It's about leadership, right? And getting the people to follow you.
Yeah. So, because in high school, I wasn't like this focused school kid. It was just, I love music, start DJing. I'm in the band, drum major, all of these things going together. And then student body president, it just was just a whole thing going on in high school. At Durham High School. Okay. So that was my musical experience in high school. All of that was going on.
Man,
80s rap and R&B.
Okay, so and I have to imagine being in Durham, North Carolina, with everything you just said, drum major, student body president, and turntablist. You had to be the only turntablist there. That was not like something that's easy to find.
Yeah, that's actually not true. We had Strike Force Disco, and before we really get to the turntablist, it's really because I only had one turntable, so I was scratching with my tape deck. So I literally was a scratcher before I started mixing. I didn't have two turntables at first. But I came under Waxmaster Tory. There was Fred James and Kiss Disc, and I'll get into some of our Durham history, but Cold Chillin' Crew.
Sure.
Lots of people. So the first time I touched a turntable, just to give a little bit of a context, first time I touched a pair of 1200 turntables.
Yes.
Was Waxmaster Tory, borrowed them from Generette. Generette is Shirley Caesar's nephew. Shirley Caesar, the gospel evangelist, is from Durham.
Okay.
Just so people know. Her nephew had one of the first disco crews. Disco crews in the 80s played rap, but it was disco for a reason, because disco, R&B, whatever, and everybody called the club disco. So it was Strike Force Disco. So Generette was part of that. There was Kiss Disco in my neighborhood, Walltown. So the first DJs I saw were those guys. We had our crew, and Durham has its history. But one of the things I'll share is that in '87, which is I'm out of high school, and now I'm at North Carolina Central in 1987. I was DJing for two girls called the Icy Girls. Okay. And 1987 is the year LL Cool J came out with I Need Love. Yeah. So Frosty, and I'm making a long story short, but Frosty, one of the Icy Girls, ended up recording a song called I Need Love Now. Spelled I Need LLOVE Now.
Okay.
And it was on Tommy Boy Records. Tommy Boy Records, right? That's hip hop.
Yeah.
That same label was Queen Latifah. Sure. So I was her DJ.
Yes.
So in '87, we went and did shows, and I have flyers. We flew to Toledo, Ohio, and UTFO was the headliner. Steady B, some others. Frosty's name is there. Okay. That's one of the flyers from 1987. And after that, she didn't want to perform anymore. After that one single deal, and that's when I moved to Atlanta in 1988. So
88. Okay.
Yeah.
What you're saying right now is always interesting to me, how people go from just having a passion and an excitement about any aspect of music, whether it's writing, producing, DJing, whatever, but then kind of that moment where you get this momentum that totally changes the trajectory of where you're going. At this point, your mind is set and you're getting motion in music industry, period. You're going places. You got a break. So would you say some of this work that you're talking about with these artists, even from Durham, North Carolina, like this really helped influence and was that transition from being just a local DJ to building you up to be more set for that national scene?
Yes, all of that. Because it's such a long journey. Yeah. That what I just explained is 1984, so it's really only 4 years. 2 years in high school, got out of high school, a year in college, gets a record deal. Like all the crews, everybody's trying to get a record deal back in the day, of course.
Right.
She gets a record deal from Durham. It's attached indirectly to a big record, LL Cool J's record. So every time they played I Need Love, they played Frosty record. And there were a couple of other records back then, because Answer Records has always kind of been a thing in music.
Sure.
Once I got to Atlanta, then it kind of was a reset. I didn't know anybody.
Okay.
Atlanta was in a certain place. When it came to the music industry, it was still a ways to go. Yeah. A lot of people were not looking at Atlanta. I ended up in Atlanta because a friend of mine, William Barnes, a.k.a. Tubbs, my boy from Durham, had graduated from DeVry and let me and my best friend have his apartment in Atlanta. Okay. So I came down, did his graduation party, and we ended up staying. I had 3 crates of records and 2 mattresses.
Wow.
That's how Luke, Duke, and myself. So that was 1988. Yeah. And from there, from 88 to 92, a lot happened. A lot of the grind, but the break was Arrested Development's Tennessee, when I remixed that, meeting Michael Malden, and Michael Malden mentioning that Jermaine was looking for a DJ for Crisscross. Yeah. And that, 92 was the year that I would say I was officially in the business. So it was still quite a little bit of time.
Yeah. And I want to get to that in 1 minute. Before I get to that, I've just got to hear this story. There's a story about you winning a battle to solidify your name, DJ Nabs.
Oh,
Tell me about this battle that went down.
Very, very, very serious thing.
Yeah.
So in '88, like I said, my best friend and I, we came down. We was in like a '69 old white van. I don't know if it's 60 years, 69. I'm going to say 69. Yeah. I mean, it had the gear shift on the collar.
Yeah.
Right? Never forget it. And we drove that 6 hours to Atlanta, and with the Creative Records, and we were driving, man, around Atlanta, excited to be there, and we saw big poster signs, like the big concert style signs. They still use them sometimes, but the big concert style, and it had DJ Nab, DJ N-A-B.
Like singular.
Right. And,
okay.
it could have been some other folks on there, but his name was on there big. And I was like, wait. Man, we moved here. My name's DJ Nabs with the S. There's already a Nabs here, man. We're going to have to go back home. And my friend Luke was like, hell no. Where they at? Let's go.
No, pull up.
Let's pull up. So it's 1988. I'm sure it's the same year we moved there because I want to say 88. But anyway, get there to Piedmont Park. And DJ Nab, his name is Noah A. Booker. He's older, a few years older than I am. And he was from New York, and he had moved to Atlanta in '83. So this is '88, but he had been there since '83. And he had a generator out there, old school New York style. Had a generator out there and speakers. Okay. And my best friend Luke said, "This the real DJ Nabs," pointing to me, and said, "This the real DJ Nabs," and whatever. And Nab tried to ignore for a minute. He was on the mic, but Luke was loud. Didn't matter. Eventually, they called me over to the turntables, and then DJ Toomp and I ended up doing the battle. And I knew who Toomp was. Okay. Yeah, because Nab was the promoter there. And I don't know, and Toomp definitely has shared the story from his end, how it happened. But, his people was ribbing him up. They was ribbing me up. And so we ended up doing a DJ battle right then and there. And we went back and forth. And this was the era of having your own needles and having your spin pads and your headphones. And that's how I walked around with my bag. I kept needles. I kept my own spin pads, and my own records. Ready to go, because it was about battling back then. So that's how we met, gained respect from each other. The friendships that happened there are still here. I hear DJ Triple J was there. Of course, Nab, Noah Booker, we still talk. And Toomp and I have been great friends ever since. But that was a straight-up battle right then and there.
So you battled Toomp for Nab's name.
Well,
that's a piece like connect the dots. What?
Oh yeah. So so the Nab name thing, it was Nab didn't battle. That's the whole thing. Nab was a promoter. Right. So Nab ended up booking me for parties at Morris Brown. He booked me for Freaknik at White Park. I ended up joining Nation Time Syndicate. So it's nothing I couldn't take his name away. His name is Nab. That was that. Okay. But then my career moved on. I'm not saying his did. I'm just saying. I went on to do Crisscross. I went on to get on V103. I did the Fresh Party, Thunderstorm, Saturday Night House Jam. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm remixing records. Yep. The DJ Nabs Break on Crisscross album. I'm going on. I'm taking my name with me now. So Nab is still Nab, and I'm still Nab. So we didn't battle for who could have the name. It's just but Toomp and I battled. Yeah.
Got you. Okay. See, I was thinking it was battling for the name, but it's basically battling for almost like the respect for your name. Like Nabs is here, and you're gonna pay attention to what I'm doing.
I think it was like, Toomp was the hometown guy, and Toomp was nationally known in my eyes because on the cover with MC Shy D, I knew who Toomp was. So getting his respect to me meant I had Atlanta's respect. Yeah. Even though I didn't look at it in that broad way or nothing like that, but now I do. And of course, especially as time has passed by. So that's kind of how I look at that one. There's two other battles though I mentioned that all happened. Okay. The idea of battling was simple. Sometimes it was just get a job. Like here's my other example. I went to Screaming Wheels for a DJ battle for a job, DJing at the skating rink. You got let's say $100, and you got to be the DJ at Screaming Wheels. I went and won that DJ battle, and JC was in that battle. Oh, and I gave JC a ride home afterwards. Yeah. That's how me and JC met. One more story. Now one more DJ battle. I was in a DJ battle at Mr. V's on Peachtree. Matter of fact, it's in the other room. I won a 8-second Newmark sampler. It's a rack mount. Oh, okay. Yep. $1 million record pool. I won that battle. The next day, I got called by Jay Ardino, rest in peace. And he said, I understand you not in my record pool. You have to get that prize back or you got to join the record pool. Wow. Okay. And I said, Dino, I've been trying to get in the record pool. See, I was a nobody. So I couldn't get in the record pool, but I went and won the battle. Yeah. Right. The person that was in that battle, he only told me this a few years ago, was Jazz from Earwax.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we're talking about 88 now.
Yeah.
We're not even talking about going past 90. This had to be the first. I'm just getting there. I'm trying to see what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get in where I fit in anyway. And that's how it was back then. So JC, Jazz, and Toomp. And that's how we met.
Man, that's so much history right there, just
right
in
there.
Atlanta music.
And it's not the 90s yet.
Right.
It's just coming.
But everything starts, though. Everything, like, the 90s didn't just happen. There was this whole movement that was happening that made the 90s possible. Let's get into now. So we mentioned it a moment ago, talking about Arrested Development and Criss Cross. 1992, you had Arrested Development's debut album and Criss Cross' debut album, I think maybe a month or two apart. And that was really the first time that Atlanta artists, hip-hop artists, started to gain some notoriety. At this time, it was still heavily New York and LA, and a little bit from the South with the Ghetto Boys with Minds Playing Tricks in 91. First of all, what was your connection with those groups at that time, and what was it like for you around that time, just seeing Atlanta start to make a little bit of noise in the music industry?
Sure. Listen, I think this is very fair to say. Again, I'm from North Carolina. My dad is from D.C. My mom's from Durham. I heard go-go music coming up, and I'm in Durham, and it's a college city. I feel like I heard everything. So when hip-hop started to come, meaning now that rap records and electro-funk records and this record and those type of records are added to the R&B and funk that already exists. So what I'm saying is in 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, before Arrested Development broke and Criss Cross broke and TLC and Tag Team with Whoop There It Is, everybody was trying to figure out what their voice was. There was no one sound. Now, again, if you had a country accent, people looked down upon you when it came to rap to a certain degree. That's why the irony of MC Shy D being one of Atlanta's first rappers, but being a straight-up New York MC rapping on Miami beats. He not rapping on Atlanta per se. He's signed a Miami label. Being produced by Miami producer and Atlanta producer, but DJ Toomp, would come on Shake. My point I'm trying to make here, there's a couple of things. The way I felt about music, even though I know there was bias from the East Coast, in particular to the South, but there wasn't bias to me with people who love music and then with DJs. It was all great. And it all was, Jump's record had East Coast breakbeat records in it. And everybody was kind of doing that dance because of Black Sheep. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Back on the scene. Everybody jumping. This is a college. If you're not in college, if you're not out and you're young, this is just records. And Jump was a stadium record. So, I'm going all over the place. But I'm just telling you, it was so exciting. Nobody had this, we from this area, we from that. Arrested Development from Milwaukee. Nobody cared. Atlanta had a group, Arrested Development, that said, where y'all from? Where y'all? We're from Milwaukee, we out of Atlanta. Criss Cross, College Park. They just Criss Cross now by saying they were too young, or they didn't represent the A right, or they wore New York jersey. See, all this dumb shit, right?
Yeah.
And listen, everywhere they went, they said we got discovered at Greenbrier Mall. Don't get no more Atlanta than that. Yeah. We from College Park. That's all they said. And at the end of the day, people find some. Listen, it was beautiful. You had Whoop There It Is, 130 beats per minute. You had TLC, which was New Jack swing-ish, pop, rap, hybrid. You had that. You had Criss Cross, again, East Coast beats, down South stories, kid perspective. And again, they went through his transformations. And you had Arrested Development. Arrested Development was a conscious group that I DJ'd for before they got the deal. And they were a group called Secret Society. And Tennessee was a beautiful song that Speaks made that I was able to remix. And that song, he did it because his grandmother passed. It was just a beautiful song. So his song made it, and the group blew up, and we all get to go on tour.
Right.
So that's what the feeling was like in 92. To hear what people, how they want to, in hindsight, had their opinions about that beautiful period of time that broke through. Because in 92, people like to compare rap records in the 90s. Listen, it won't just rap records. The 80s is still Bobby Brown and them still doing their thing. BBD, it's New Jack Swing, Michael's Dangerous album, and Teddy Riley. Nobody was killing. There's still the 90s going on. Up to the 2000s. So I think there's a shallow hip-hop conversation, very shallow, and especially when it gets regionalized. It's a very shallow way of thinking of music. Music is all of this stuff going on. We ain't got to get into hip-house or reggae's influence. Hip-hop, reggae, because Criss Cross and Supercat. Hip-hop and reggae. Right. Come on, right? The hybrid of the way the music was just coming from every direction. In 92 alone. Amazing, beautiful shit.
Well, and quite honestly, man, that was one of the lures for me to move to Atlanta, is because when I decided to pursue that music route, it was New York, LA, and Atlanta was really just starting to make some noise. And New York already had a sound, LA had a sound, or West Coast had a sound, but Atlanta was different. It reminded me of like New York almost in the 80s, where every artist had to be different. Like if you sounded like somebody else, like, no, we're not doing that. So in Atlanta, you had all these different sounds, like what you just described. And I was like, this seems like a place that is still figuring its sound out, and it's creative, and there's a lot of styles, flavors. I want to be a part of that. Well, that was the reason that I moved to Atlanta. And of course, now there is a southern sound, but you still have some of those other pieces that were still foundational, that are still woven into what's part of the South sound. But it's not as diverse as it used to be. But that time that you're describing, even from the outside, as a boy in Oklahoma in high school, it was exciting to watch what was happening in Atlanta.
Yeah. To me, what puts regions, or where it's a city or that, whatever, it's the music, but it's all it's all the marketing. And however it happens is fine. And in a lot of ways, I'm just spectating too. But hip hop is still, with all of these different stories and the way these evolution periods, the narrowness is that it's still his hip hop. It's still inside his records. Records all around here. All of these records are still going on. And the difference between sometimes a record from New York or Texas or Atlanta is just accent. A lot of times the beats are the same, the sample sources are the same, the inspiration is the same, but if somebody's saying, oh, I'm from here and I'm from there, and then they might be divisive against each other over the same. I mean, you're rapping over Down South James Brown record. All bass music comes from the electro funk era of the Planet Rock, inspired by a German producer. This is how DJs think every day.
Yeah. No, so, I love this. Yeah, I love it, man.
Because this is how it is. It's all a bridge from something else. Let me mention something I say might not be popular, but let's just say, okay, Crisscross comes out with Jump and all that. I'm not around doing that production because I understand what Jermaine produced, how he did it. The Bomb comes out. I'm involved in that. Heavily West Coast influence. Jermaine's influenced by The Bomb, clearly. All right, cool. That's that. Outkast, and let me mention Parental Advisory too, because it's Dungeon Family. And mention T.I. Producers, Parental Advisory, their stuff had East Coast leaning stuff in their tracks in the very beginning. True. Just like everybody else, because you're trying to fit in. And then eventually they found a way. But what I wanted to say was that Southern playalistic music, play music, Cadillac, sounds just like Snoop Doggy Dogg. Listen, what I'm telling you is that when The Bomb came out and Snoop Dogg, all that shit came out, everybody was influenced.
Getting a little piece of it woven in.
Yes, bro, because it's because everybody who produced music knows. And everybody that programs music, radio stations, producers in the studio, and DJs understand that if a tempo gets hot, if a style gets hot, they're going to duplicate it or replicate it. That's why music right now, like you just said about the South, that the trap sound, they program the same tempo. They might be the same key, okay? So that's been done forever. So when you go back, am I saying Outkast is just like West Coast? No, I'm saying there still can be one record.
Influence.
Or two records where this the hot sound. Let me throw a record in here to connect me to that sound, and then I'm going to go do my thing.
Yeah.
It happens every 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you know what's crazy is like when I hear Southern playalistic, I didn't connect it like that to West Coast, but the way you broke it down, I do. I'm taking it further back to the West Coast being influenced by P-Funk, all that.
Well, not just, that's
the whole
that's
Snoop thing
though.
was like Funkadelic. Right, yeah. But I'm saying like that whole kind of the sing-song, the melodies, Dre and Snoop took that in the Chronic, Doggy Style. It started to make noise in hip-hop. Outkast, organized noise take in the industry, like it's just the way it's almost like the influences circle around and they permeate through different records and producers.
Bro. Look, this is how it is. Imagine this is a crate of records. This the crate that's hot today.
Yeah.
You got I don't give a damn who you can call Buster, you can say Jay-Z. Everybody got to figure out how to get up in here.
Yep.
Man, you come left field with something that don't even fit. If you Beyonce, if you somebody where you got that sort of, but for the most part, you're trying to slide on in there.
Yes.
You understand? And so then when I gave you that analogy about Snoop, that's because I'm in the clubs, I'm on the radio, I'm doing the mix show every night. This is not no whatever. 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, my career in radio. So when a Southern playlist come out, guess what crate I'm going to put it in? It's 93 beats per minute. Listen, it's 93 beats per minute. Where am I going to put it? Something that's 100 beats? No, I'm going to put it 93. No. Oh, what's 93? Yes. Oh, half of this chronic shit. Guess what I'm going to mix with
in the crate.
There you go. So it's not conceptual, it's actual reality.
Yeah, but you know what you're describing sounds like the role of the DJ in the music industry and radio, helping to break records and how to break records. It's knowing what the sounds are, what the majority of tempos, what you've seen work, throwing in something that can not be completely different, but enough to weave into the mix and try to break the next artist. Would that be fair to say?
I'm going to say it's bigger than that. Listen, Chris Lover been selling chillin', feeling what on rap promos 2 years before he did Welcome to Atlanta.
Yeah,
especially in hip hop, man. I mean, I'm sure in other areas, but ever since I've been coming up, ever since I know about hip hop in the very beginning, and as a kid, Mr. Magic. There's a song called Houdini's Wand that Houdini made for Mr. Magic, and Mr. Magic played Houdini's wand on the radio, on his radio show, because he's the biggest radio DJ in New York. That's 1984. It's 1996 in the lab with Nabs come on the air. It don't matter that Chris Lover is on the morning show with Ryan. I'm in the music business.
Yeah.
First thing that Chris Lover, when they say Chris Lover won't be on my show, okay. Beyond, stack my cards, get my commercials ready, grabbing me lunch and whoop-de-whoop. Chris, go ahead, and I'm going to play another one of your promos today. And I play him every day. Every day. Then he got a record one day. So this is what DJs do. This is you put people in position. City Winery, event for my celebration. Same thing. I'm calling people that I didn't have a relationship before they had a record deal, and when their record deal left, it's still Nabs calling.
Still there. Yep.
Bone Crusher been on radio promos for me at least six years before he got Never Scared.
Yep.
So that's the role of a DJ. We before, present, and after. No, I don't care what your career do.
Yeah.
It don't matter what your career do. And we're going to always have the demo when nobody knew who you were.
You got all the receipts from before, during,
we the architects. It's that, they might not like it. And I'll tell you something else. That's why touchless technology has moved on. It's helped people. And AI is doing the same thing in the sense of what I'm about to say about the DJs. But when technology came in and allowed everybody to be a DJ, half these artists who didn't have much, I guess, to work with as far as their career, all wanted to come back and be a DJ too, because it's the mainstay.
Right.
Now, a lot of people that claim the DJ status now, we're not carrying the records in the records in the 90s and doing the things we're talking about. Okay.
Right. And still aren't.
And still aren't. That's what DJs do. We're the whole thing. We just are. And even when records come out, and they might not be the right tempo, the right style, by default, we're going to change it. We're going to take the acapella, put it on top of something else. It's a whole mindset with DJs.
That's well educated, man. This is like schooling the people listening, even myself. Like, here's what the DJs are. Put some respect on the DJ's name. And I appreciate you sharing all that with me. I want to talk about, still earlier in your career, some of the work with Criss Cross. You went on tour with Criss Cross for the Michael Jackson. It was the Dangerous Tour, right?
Yes.
Tell me what kind of impact that had on your career.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you, man, in the beginning, it didn't mean, it's going to sound a little funny, it didn't mean that much. It meant something to me and everybody that knew it wasn't social media and I wasn't the act. The act was Criss Cross.
Yeah.
But had the experience, loved it. We did it for 3 months in Europe. We had a 45-minute show. And technically, I think it was 3 singles out probably by this time. Jump, Warm It Up, I Missed the Bus. So a lot of that 45-minute show, we had to do the whole album. We didn't have any choice. We didn't have to, it's 45 minutes. But I did 15 minutes every night. My own set in the middle. I had to grow up on that show. I wasn't really accustomed to a lot of crowd control. I'd done my clubs in Atlanta prior to, and I was doing my radio thing, but I wasn't really that I would just command the mic at the time, but I had to be. So I left that tour, and I felt real strong about it. And then Criss Cross, we toured overseas and write commercials and you name it. Michael, and that tour influenced me all the way through Kaya, through my album.
Wow.
It just goes on and on, really. Just the experience of just watching Michael and having that experience and touring on that level. So.
That's what I was going to ask, too. Like, just watching Michael perform and prepare, like, how did that affect you? Just seeing this guy who's a master of his craft.
I watched that show about, I don't know, it could be 12 times maybe.
Yeah.
We were able to go in the front area where the press was. Press had to leave after 2-3 songs, I believe.
Okay.
But incredible show. There's no watching Michael prep or get.
Okay.
They drove Michael under the stage.
Okay.
And when he popped out, he popped out.
He popped out. Yep.
Yeah. There was a time or two. If he walked from this area to that area, they do a pipe and drape.
Okay.
And then you see his feet.
Yeah. You're like, you think those are his feet. It might be a decoy, and then Michael's sneaking in somewhere else.
Let me tell you about that. We'd get to another city. We'd be in London for 10 days and do 5 shows there, right? That's crazy. Then we move on to the next place. And Mike would have decoys all over the city. That's when I realized, I was like, okay, the show for Michael is not just a show. Everything is a show. He's coming.
Right.
Oh, he's here. Across town, they thought they saw the hand wave out the limo. No, then there's a helicopter. No, it's on this side. It was just white. And the show ain't for two more days. These are the type of things we were all experiencing together. And to me, didn't have access to Michael like that, but we had access to the band.
Okay.
And even they weren't accessible at the first week. But after they got comfortable with us, I'm just telling you, at the end of the hotel, at the hotel in the lobby, everybody's playing the Dangerous album. Like, this is not just, he got an album out and we on tour. Right. No, we going to the club tonight to listen to it. It's going down.
It's life. The album is life. Yes.
We're in Europe. We're in the clubs. We got the Michael Jackson pass. Bang. We everywhere. So
everywhere. Yep.
It was wonderful. And I was 23. Chris was 13.
Man. That's
and
crazy.
Jermaine, he didn't come on that tour. I think he came out for a day or two. Jermaine was 18. Or 19, right about that. So you understand?
Still,
like,
man,
Jermaine
was so young, yeah.
Yeah, all of them was young. I was just coming over to adult.
Was there ever, because you said you didn't really get to talk to Mike, was there ever a point where you guys got to talk anything about music or anything, or did they kind of keep you all separated and let Michael do his thing?
No. I met Michael Jackson at the end of the tour. The last show, he brought security, ran me and Chris Cross. We thought we were going to our dressing room like normal. But he took us up to his dressing room, had cameras, everything set. He thanked us. He took a picture with Chris first. Then he took a picture with me, the mom, Sydney, a couple of us. I stood beside Michael Jackson. He was on my right-hand side. Yeah. I was like, damn, he's a little shorter than me. We could have been a little – I didn't think I was tall, but I'm 5'11", so.
Yeah. They always seem taller on the screen or wherever,
That was it. So that's how I met Mike, and that was the last show.
Yeah. That's a great experience, though, man. So you move on from there, and eventually you create the In the Lab brand, which is celebrating its 30th milestone this year. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So talk about how your afternoon drive show came about and who was instrumental in getting your own show.
So going back to that period of, let's go to 1995, that's a big year for Freaknik and Olympics, and everybody talks about that. But that was also the year that Atlanta's got its first commercial rap station. Prior to that, V103, which is still a big, the mainstay station there, played rap on the weekends. And again, I was a part of that. On the weekends and played it after 8 p.m. But easily, this is 1995, Olympics and all of that, V103 would be playing Luther Vandross, Anita Baker in the middle of the day. Like, it just, they were not accepting. So the new station came, weak signal on the old National Highway in Atlanta. And because of that, V103, which is where I was still at, they brought Greg Street. So I was at V103 when Greg Street came.
Okay.
When Greg Street came, Tony Brown, who was our PD, I'm doing my mixes on the weekend or wherever Tony got me. Greg Street, nobody knows the story. Greg Street went and asked Tony if he could buy turntables, if we could mix live on the show at 9 o'clock. So I went with Greg Street, and we drove up to Rhythm City. Stay with me if you know what I'm talking about. Guitar Center was Rhythm City.
Okay. I was like, I know Guitar Center. I didn't know Rhythm City. I think that was before I moved here.
Yeah, most people. Rhythm City, that same on the Beaver Highway was Rhythm City. We went to Rhythm City, bought turntables, and plugged them into the tape deck at V103, and I mixed live on Greg Street show at 9 o'clock.
Nice. Okay.
And we called it the Thunderstorm. That footage of this, what I'm telling you, is also in the Freaknik documentary because, yes, from a whole nother angle, but George Cox, Juan Davis, some of my OGs always made sure they had a camera on me. Shout out to Al Skateman. So my Thunderstorm show, that was the first time since I've been in Atlanta, 1988, live mixing was done on V103. We went and bought those turntables. And all mixes, just FYI, I got all my cassettes and all my 4 tracks over here. All mixes on the radio were done at home and then brought to the station and put on a reel-to-reel. Then that reel-to-reel was played, and you just sat there while you're So when I'm telling you, in 1995, I'm at V103. We buy the turntables. We plug into a tape deck. I do the Thunderstorm mix show after Greg. Then Tony Brown gave me the Thunderstorm show at 10 and moved the Quiet Storm to midnight. Josh Littell was furious.
Okay.
I stayed there.
Making waves, Nabs, making waves.
Hey, listen, somebody on my Instagram right now telling me the story. Like they was there.
Like
I
they
posted
remember
that. Yeah, but he was going on. He's like, Thunderstorm was at 10 o'clock. George came on at midnight. He remembers.
That's funny.
So to make a long story short, the next year, which is 96, which is 30 years from today, 30 years from this year, Hot offered me a full-time position, and that's what I went. I went down there, and then I started mixing every day. I took my turntables, plugged in their tape deck, to their board. Was it done before me? I don't know. Because again, that station was only been there a year. But when Nabs in the Lab hit, my whole whatever was that I mixed live on the radio immediately.
Yeah.
So and we filmed it constantly to the point where I licensed footage of Ludacris, who was my show producer, intern, in the studio, helping me, whatever you want to call it, right? Yeah. I licensed that for his VH1 Behind the Music. I licensed that for the Inside the Label, DTP, and ATL Rive's documentary on VH1.
Okay.
So I talk my smack, but I'm just telling you, everything I talk, everything I say is documented in some form.
That's what I'm saying. You've got it all. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was there.
Well, and not only were you there, but you've got the proof, and no one can say otherwise. So
we're working on that, Jeremy. You know why I say that, though, Jeremy? Not to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
There's a whole decade of Atlanta's history that's ignored, and I'm gonna say the '90s because when you talk about T.I., Ludacris, Sierra, Killer Mike, we're talking about 2000 and up.
Yes.
When you talk about DJs, who are they talking about? They're not. I think Drama, Drama from Philly. Drama's story that his first club experience coming to see me at the club. This is on video. He's telling me. And I'm saying this because of, let's just say, all the blog spaces, everybody that's supposed to be educated about hip hop, especially in the South, but not.
Right.
There's 10 years at least of the '90s. Come and get it.
Yeah. That leads to a question that I was going to ask later, but I'm going to ask it now because it's a good time to ask it now, which is when people talk about Atlanta's music industry without mentioning DJ Nabs, what part of the story gets left out?
Man, it's a whole bunch that gets left out. First of all, let's just start with Crisscross. And that's why I kind of mentioned what I would say I feel they get slighted because they were kids, and which is ridiculous. LL Cool J, his first record, he was 15. Busta Rhymes was only 16. You know, I don't know what people are talking about. Crisscross lasted 3 to 4 years, give or take, as far as an active moving act. Chris Kelly from Crisscross and I was friends his whole life. When we talk about Crisscross, I think it's important to come and talk to his brother, which is me. Chris Smith decides to talk and speak, then cool. I don't think there's too many other people that were around Chris Kelly for his entire life like that from that point. So that's one thing. When you talk about radio, I just told a radio story of mixes being done in '88 to '96, no live mixing being done on Atlanta radio. Greg Street coming, how that happened. Rolling Out, it's a magazine in Atlanta. I'm the first hip-hop DJ on there. Asked AI about, I said, I got my record deal in '96. AI confirmed that I'm the first hip-hop DJ with a website.
Okay, wow.
My album, The Inner Lab with DJ Nabs, the live double album, is the only one of its kind in history.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Because I remember when you put it out, there was a concept I don't think had been done before that I recall.
No live.
So I know Funkmaster Flex, but his wasn't a live album though, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. So you can add from the South. You can add from Durham. There is one thing I would say in all fairness, and I'm aware of history as it happens and as it moves. I know that it takes time. People discover history, then it's got to be corrected.
Yeah, right.
Let me give you an example.
Yep.
In here, I have a VHS tape when I was recording 15 years of hip-hop. That would be about 40 years ago. Is that right? About 40 years ago. Is that right? Guess who they started that show off with? You'll never guess.
I'd like to say Run DMC. I know that would not be accurate, but it would be someone like probably later in the late 80s, early 90s.
You're close, though. They started it with the Beastie Boys.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
Now, again, like how wrong is that? But you see what I'm going, right?
Yeah,
that had to be correct. No, VH1 wouldn't re-air their own program. Right. So now I license for, like I mentioned, I've licensed for Ludacris Behind the Music. Now, why does that happen? I looked up, again, with just being aware, it's been about 10, 11 years that Chris been famous. It's probably time. You see, that's how it works. And then they do it, right? And then they get the information, it's produced, how they produce, whatever. ATL Rise comes out in 2015. I licensed for that documentary. Okay, what did that documentary tell the world? And particularly the kids who hadn't been born yet. The highlight of that whole documentary was, Andre went up there and said, the South got something to say. right? That's produced.
Yeah.
Not saying that didn't happen, but
Sure.
when that documentary hit, even the PD at my radio station was like, oh, I didn't know Kilo was as big as he was. Because he's an out-of-town PD in Atlanta. Been there 15 years, but he won't there in the 90s. Now, with stories being told about Atlanta, this, that, and third, and fourth, I'm like, yeah, we about 15 years off. You know, definitely a decade of, y'all don't even know what you're talking about. Because, again, if you're starting with T.I., then you're wrong. If you're starting with Luda and them, you're starting with Crunk and R&B with Sierra,
Sure.
You're 20 years past how Atlanta and the infiltration of rap could stop calling it hip-hop, too. They be like, man, we played, our hip-hop back in the day in Atlanta. Shut up. Shut up. You didn't call it. Nobody called it. It was rap music. Period.
Yeah.
You know, right? Hip-hop came when you asked me, we're going to make a defining line with hip-hop and a lifestyle because MC Hammer's success was so big that they were like, wait a minute, that's rap pop. We got to come with hip hop over here.
How do we classify it? Yeah.
Right. So the South wasn't even in that conversation. It was bass music, you know, for the most part. And if you did rap music, you did rap. Nobody won't walk around talking about hip hop and carrying no lifestyle.
And would you say that's the difference between hip hop and rap? Is hip hop is more the lifestyle when you look at all the other elements of hip hop versus rap just being one piece of hip hop?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's definitely the technical definition, but I think that, you know, as time goes on, things get, definitions change and morph and whatever.
Sure.
It's still happening to the point where, first of all, everything that created hip-hop got shunned to the side. Lyrics, DJing, b-boying, right?
Yeah.
You know, who really caring about graffiti? Like, they're not caring about that. Hip-hop now, we can redefine it. Like right here and today, we want to sit here and it's beef, it's blogging, it's... You know, it's everything but the music. And what helped do that? See, I've been on a tangent on this shit all day. See, when I talk to my friends, this is what we talk about. When you come with Love and Hip Hop, a 10, 15-year program that ain't produced no music, what did Rockers Records produce? What did So Def Records produce? What did Death Row produce? Like when you say records, they got stories and you got all the shit you can whatever. But we can turn the TV off and just go turn the boombox on with Rockers Records, Death Row, with records. With Hip Hop and Love, 15 years, where the soundtrack? It's not, the soundtrack is a bunch of fucking fighting, right? I'm just saying.
True.
So where we are now, bro, for real, is where jazz musicians are and work in their life after the fact. I'm talking about the older jazz. The best of hip hop is behind me.
That breaks my heart, man. But I can't disagree. If
you take the stack of the latest 5-10 years of music that they consider rap and hip hop, I mean, put that over here and I take the rest of it over here.
Yeah.
I'm destroying y'all. Tempo, styles, you know. Yeah.
I don't disagree. Here's the argument of today's generation. Do we feel that way because that's what we grew up with and listened to and it defined who we were in our memories and all that? But this generation, even though this music now, I agree with you, I'm not really feeling most of it. But to them, maybe it is their Tribe Called Quest their Outkast or whatever.
I think the difference is the system. So I'm not blaming the generations. The system in the 80s didn't think hip hop was going to do nothing.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
And then people made it work. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody, you know, the people who really made it work, made Bad Boys, So Def, made it work, and created a catalog. Boom.
Yep.
All right, catalog has been done. This is jazz music. This is that jazz music I'm talking about. This is that Black Moon. Everything that we've learned from. Okay.
Yep.
Now, again, the commercialization of it. Boom, boom, boom. Here's the system. Well, who's the system for? And that's when it comes to people. As a black person, as a black person who knows and has lived through decades of, this is really just our music. So now it's everybody's music. Well, when I look at us inside everybody's music, I don't like what I see.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so so I know what did that. That's why I just said Love and Hip Hop. Love and Hip Hop did that. The radio stations that I don't work for no more. On purpose.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. Because I live my life like, it's wild, but I do it like, in hindsight while I'm there. Meaning I can leave a situation knowing 10, 15 years later, this is going to be in my favor. So I left because of the system. I can move around records. Meaning this record ain't that, I feel it's degenerate or whatever. I can move around that. I can always do that. But you can't be in a system, in my opinion. If I'm in a system at radio and I'm doing 6 days a week today, every artist that come out, not only am I going to be responsible for playing it or expected to play it, I'm expected to have a relationship with them artists, communicate with those artists, interview, and be genuine about it. And I'm not going to be genuine about the
feel
system that's putting out these
Yes.
records, right?
Yep.
All right, Professor Griff, one of my good buddies, so let me stop there.
Yeah. No, I got you, man. So, Nabs, let's talk more about this 30th anniversary of In the Lab. Tell me why this is so important. Tell me what you're going to be doing to celebrate this 30th year.
Sure, concerts, parties for sure. But one of the cool things we came up with was a crate drop. With I have all my vinyl from all my years, and a lot of the vinyl has not been touched.
Well, quantify this, though. All my vinyl over the years. How many vinyl are we talking about?
It's been estimated 15,000.
Okay.
So
it's a little more than my collection.
yeah, it's like it's in 2 locations.
Okay.
And in one location,
Atlanta
it's in
South
several rooms.
North Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so, especially back in the day, once being hot in radio and everything, I'm getting 7, 8, 10 copies of certain records. So, of course, I kept those. And those are original presses, and I think it would be cool for people to enjoy and have them themselves. So we did consignment deals with about 7 record stores and one barbershop in Durham, North Carolina, AJ's Barbershop, which my uncle used to own that shop. That's in Durham, AJ's Barbershop. But we also put it in Atlantis in 7 stores, DBS Sounds, Moods Music, Crates ATL.
Yeah. Okay.
A few other spots, but you can find all the locations on djnabs.com.
Okay.
So this is one of the things we're doing, and then we go in and do activations where I may spin, or Player Poncho and I just had a podcast about the So Def Bass compilation because it's 30 years of What's Up. And that compilation actually started at my house.
Really?
Yeah, because
How so?
if you know Skeeter Rock was Jermaine Dupri's right-hand man.
Okay.
For a while, and Jermaine had an SP1200 drum machine. An SP1200 drum machine is necessary for bass music creation in hip hop, especially back then. And so Jermaine didn't like the SP12, so Eddie brought it to me.
Okay.
And so my house kind of always been a secondary studio to a degree with So Def artists. So Player Poncho and I started working on 3 or 4 songs there. And so Coochie Cutters came out of that session, which is on the So Def Bass compilation. And somebody else did What's Up, the big records. But the drum machine, it was started at my house.
Yeah, well, I've got you probably can't see, but I got the 808
the
on
rolling
the T-shirt.
Yep.
There you go, classic
Man, trying
material.
to be proud of you.
Man, I need to get them on here, Mantronics.
Yes, he around too.
Yeah, so you're doing, and by the time this airs, it'll be in the past, but I know you're doing the Club Kaya 30th anniversary. Yeah, this is not necessarily in the lab, but it's really in the lab for Club Kaya, correct?
Yeah,
Kinda
you know what's
bring
funny?
that
It started that way because Club Kaya was a tribute 70s, 80s, and 90s. It was in the 90s, so that's what it celebrated. And we got Jay-Z was new. I was a little stuck on how to really do a Club Kaya tribute, thinking about the caliber of artists we had back then in a way.
Right.
But then I said, man, there's so many artists that I have relationships with that I helped been a part of outside of Kaya. So we're putting all of that inside.
Okay.
So Professor Griff, drama, so Dirty South, East Coast, So Def Bass, 69 Boys, Miami based, their relationship. So we're bringing a bunch of artists together, and our plans to do another one. So I think by the time this podcast come out, that we may be to part 2, because this one's looking to sell out.
Yeah. No, that'll be pretty dope. One thing I want to touch on real quick, I found out about you recently. You're a member of the band The Southern Brothers. Tell me about this.
Oh, my goodness.
You're not just a DJ. You're multifaceted. Tell me about this.
Sometimes in life, right, you just have to go out there and just do something different. Before I was a DJ, we talked about a little bit earlier, as a musician, singing in the choir and all that.
Yep.
Music, it's about music. So I think hip-hop has had a certain place. As far as my role is DJing behind somebody, scratching, that's had its time and its place. And so now producing my own music, visualizing, having songs and things I really want to say has happened with age.
Okay.
Very much in the 5 Heartbeats movie type of way. Life has given me all the ammunition to do these records. And so we formed the Southern Brothers, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're on our 3rd EP now.
Wow,
and we're moving like a band, not like a group trying to get a deal, because, I've had a deal. The freedom we moving with, Jeremy, I can't even explain it.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
You know what I mean?
I understand, yes.
We make the records. We go on stage. We collect. And we
are
do
you
it again.
singing, or are you playing, or are you doing both?
I'm a vocalist on my records, right? So I am rapping in the way that people think of rapping.
Gotcha.
But I'd say a vocalist like Missy Elliott, because I'm producing the music. So when I produce myself, it's right. So I got my vocals in there. I can perform my vocals. Like I practice harder than the two other guys on the mic because they're seasoned in that way.
Gotcha.
Twip is a funkster. He don't call himself a singer. He calls himself a funkster. He does everything. We got a long relationship. Bagham's true MC, and then you got Nabs. Nabs a vocalist. Nabs a leader. Nabs ain't scared.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And I pull my guitar out too. I don't give a damn.
Oh, come on now. All right. So here's what I know. When we're done recording this session, I've got some work to do. I'm gonna be listening to it while I'm working, and, and I'm gonna shoot you a message because when I heard about it, I was like, what's he doing? But so now I'm like, all right, I wanted to talk to you first so you could set it up for me. So I'm definitely gonna check that.
So let me say 2 years performing, not just doing it because I think that's the difference. As a performer, you're not gonna mess with me because I've been doing it for decades, right?
You all I got to do is Michael Jackson.
Exactly.
You were just in the room. You learned some things.
The songs, producing the songs, learning my songs, practicing my songs, and so when I go on stage, I'm a well-rehearsed person. So it's really about selling them at the stage. I mean, the records are great, so I definitely cannot wait to hear what you think.
Yeah, we covered a lot today. There's a lot more we can get into. We didn't even crack into just these hours and probably years worth of footage that you have documenting your career, your experiences, the clubs. And I know we're going to see some of that in the future. Tell me just a little bit about that since we're about to wrap up.
Like I said, I'm a kid from the 70s, so it used to be about writing letters. And then as I got a camera, started keeping that. And I've toured, so I kept the tour passes, kept the jackets. Then I created my own events. So if I created my events in the 90s and you came, guess what? You're there. You're in the footage. You're in the stories. And, and because of the time I was born, and because of the time that the Lord said, okay, you're going to get the opportunity. Jay-Z happened to be coming through. Young Luda trying to get a shot. Come on, Redman and Method Man. The executioners were all together, all four of them, rock rated. And they all came to my spot and rocked, and we recorded it with 8-track audio, and we recorded it with a camera.
That's crazy. Yeah.
In the 90s because we wanted to keep it for ourselves. Not even thinking, and that just continued and continued. Atlanta is in this footage. My friends, you know, people, it's not me. The camera wasn't here. I'm DJing. The party's here. The camera's here. It's y'all. You know, that's the beauty of it.
Well, I'll sit tight, and I know you're going to drop some of that stuff here and there.
You coming to the show, Jeremy?
Okay.
Are you coming?
I'll be there.
The footage is in the show. It's
in the show. Okay. All right. So, Nabs, we've reached the time where I'm going to pull out the clarity cards. And your question is, this should be a simple one, I hope. What do you enjoy doing the most? What do you enjoy doing the most?
Man, it's going to be reading.
Reading. Okay.
Yep.
Is there a particular genre, or you consume a lot?
I think I consume a lot. I think, I still have my comics. Comics were before records, right? And then I spent a lot of years reading manuals, learning. I'm a manual reader. And then because of the internet, oh, my God, it's almost addictive. AI right now, I do a whole lot of learning, a whole lot of downloading. And then that just helps my creativity explode. I want to say later because sometimes you working on stuff. So reading is how I get everything down, really. So it's my greatest thing, really. And writing. So I didn't know I was a writer till I got past in my 30s. It was just a byproduct of reading.
Right.
So all of a sudden I'm like, damn, I can write.
Yeah, so, I think it's reading and it's experiences. You know, you have a lot that you've experienced that you can write about, talk about. You've been around enough creative elements for your life where writing is just an extension of that.
And let me just say this too. The DJing, I didn't know for a long time that DJing was storytelling. I was doing it, great at it, but I didn't know I was telling stories. I just didn't know. And as I put visuals with it, even with doing the Social Death 20th anniversaries, I'm always was putting the visuals with the music. And so now in the current time, even with our bands, we've made 3 music videos, went and shot it the old school way, but I've made 7 with AI of our music.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Incredible. I mean,
nice.
That's why I say it's so much. It's a lot of reading because I'm constantly reading and trying to understand with this world and what's going on now. And it's always been to my benefit to have information.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That's most of my reading. It takes me forever to read a book. Like I read books, but I have friends who are book readers, and I'm like, I just can't sit down and do that. But I do read a lot. Internet, news, trying to learn different things. Like I'm taking in a lot of information a lot. But in my free time, it's rare that I'm picking up a book. Maybe if I'm on vacation or something like that. Yeah,
my wife will read a book in a minute. I ain't got that skill like she can do it too.
Yeah, I will fall asleep like page 2. I'll be like, okay. But anyways, DJ Nabs, thank you for taking time to share some of your stories and your journey with us. And also thank you for your contributions to Atlanta's culture and the music scene here and to your culture just in the music industry, period. What is the best way for people to follow or connect with you?
The best way is djnabs.com. I believe in having your own site. I've had mine since 99 or 98.
Yep.
And then DJ Nabs on social media. I'm heavy on Instagram and have been for a while. TikTok, I'm trying my best.
Yeah, you'll get there. Or not. If they don't shut it down, who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
But we definitely dump everything on our website because that's one central place where you can get the content and see everything we talked about. Because the documentary stuff is there, the music is there, the AI films that we're starting to share, everything's up there.
Yeah, and to the listener, the links, I'll get those and they'll be in the notes. So wherever you're hearing this, watching this, just check the notes and you'll have links to connect directly with them. So DJ Nabs, thank you.
Thank you, brother. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, for sure. And to the listener, thank you for tuning into the Jeremy Hazelwood Show. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to follow or subscribe so you're always up to date when each new episode drops. And until next time, keep following your dreams to find your purpose.